Welcome on Radio Metal, Dero. Oomph is very well known in France, but not so often heard on the radio. Could you introduce us the band?
Yeah, I'm the lead singer of Oomph, who was formed 1989 by Flux guitars, samples, crap guitars and keyboards, and me, Dero, voice, lyrics and drums, programmings and stuff. And yeah, we began very electronical orientated on our first record, same titled, Oomph, which was very much dominated by the so-called electronic body music which was going around back then. And we were really very much satisfied on the one hand also, and influenced by bands like Kraftwerk, Deutsch-Amerikanische Freundschaft, Liaison Dangereuse, Lassig Bandhaus, Einstürzende Neubauten, as I said, and The Cure, Depeche Mode, of course, also. And on the other hand, we really liked Motorhead and AC/DC and stuff like that. So we always wanted to combine both worlds and both sides that influenced us very much in our own youth. The cold electronical appeal of the 80s and the rough, dirty metal and hard rock appeal. And we said, when we form a band, let's combine both worlds. Of course, back then, both worlds were really departed from each other, you know. Everybody who was into guitar music hated anything about samples and keyboards, and vice versa. Electronical guys hated anything about guitars. So it was really stupid and embarrassing for us to see, because we really liked both sides. So as we formed Oomph, we said, let's try to cross over both worlds.
Okay. People often say that German bands are in the shadow of Rammstein. How do you feel about it?
Of course, Rammstein is the most successful band in this chapter of music. They are worldwide well known. So, but we were there 5 years earlier, so Rammstein always say in interviews that they were influenced by us, and without Oomph there wouldn't have been Rammstein. So, well, for us it's really an honor to be called a big influence on such bands as Rammstein. So, but of course it's also good to have bands like, for example, Rammstein, or don't laugh at me, Tokyo Hotel, who really force German language in other countries, you know. There's so many young people who are interested in German language right now because of those bands. So it opens doors for German music, that's it. Of course, I'm not so much into music of Tokyo Hotel, but I'm much too old for their music, so. But yeah, it's really good for us also to see that German music and German-speaking music is really accepted all over the world, and also in France. And for us as a band who kind of like formed this kind of music, among others, it's a real honor, and it's really good to see that our spark from back then has become a real huge fire who's spreading. And the fire is music, and the language is music, which understands everybody. And well, and I think we've got a complete different approach on music as bands like Rammstein, for example. So I really can understand why, for example, bands like Rammstein are so much successful and famous all over the world, because we really have to be honest, they broadcast and spread a picture of Germans that is really a cliche in those countries, you know. People want to see Germans as Rammstein tell we are, But as we all know, Germans are not like that. So for us it's really important to be ourselves on stage and not caricatures or not trying. We're not trying to create artificial show or to inscenate something, you know. Like, for example, Siegfried and Roy in Las Vegas, you know, with many explosions and fire and yeah, so many things that turns the sides off the most important thing, music. You know, there's a lot of bands, you go to concerts of them and everybody is telling afterwards it was a huge, amazing show. But they don't speak about music, you know, they just speak about the show. Yeah. So if you want to compare it with movies, for example, I don't like popcorn movies too much, you know, which are just about effects, special effects and yeah, huge scenarios and stuff like that. I'm more into small videos which are more about acting. You know what I mean? It's more important to be authentic on stage or concerning to movie. You have to be authentic on film, you know. And there's so many movies, take all the special effects away and nothing is left. Because no one in those, in many of those pictures can really act. There's no story behind it. So, yeah. With me, it's more about stories. It's important that you have to tell something. And we have to tell something. We, for example, we provoke very often. We like to provoke very much. But behind our provocation, there's always a background why we do that kind of provocation. Provocation for just its own case is really boring, I think. If you just provoked and nothing is behind it, it's boring. That's not Oomph.
Okay. What kind of relationship do you have with other German bands like Rammstein, Megahertz, Eisbrecher?
Yeah, of course we know all those bands. You meet each other at certain festivals from time to time, and you talk to each other, and yeah, it's a really small family, you know, of those kind of music in Germany. So we accept each other, you know. We don't fight with each other because there's nothing to fight with. And yeah, it's just about small talk. And yeah, for example, at some award shows we meet guys of Rammstein from time to time, you know. Each year, you can say, you know. So yeah, and then we talk, drink some beer with each other, and yeah, that's it. You know, it's not a big friendship because there's too less time to get friends, but we accept each other.